Man, the ocean will not be happy with you.
Hey, it will be because damn right they know I love the original.
They
And are you saying the ocean ain't an OG?
Oh, shoot, you're right.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Hello and welcome to Cassette, where you can eject wherever you want, but please don't forget to rewind. I'm Ethan.
I'm Annmarie.
And Annmarie, what did we just get out of seeing?
We just saw Moana.
Well, Moana 2026 live action adaptation.
Moana 2.0. Well, wait, actually, no, there is a second Moana. Moana live action 2.0.
Well, then that would imply that there was already a first live action.
Dang it.
Well, we'll work out those semantics a little later. But yeah, Moana 2026, aka the Moana live action movie. So
That's
this,
just, should we cut to the chase? We've seen the Rotten Tomatoes score.
yes, I think as it stands right now, it is at a 36% critic score. And, going into this thing, we can both, and as far as we're concerned, and as far as most of the world is concerned, we all love Moana. I think that's a pretty universal stance.
Yeah, I
Like
think
the original 2016 film, I'm pretty sure we all love it.
I love that film. I have such a deep connection to that film. I was actually in Disney World when I saw that film. I love it so much.
Yeah, I mean, I was late to the party on it, to be honest. I didn't see it till like a few 4 years later or something like that. Maybe it was during COVID. I can't remember, but I finally watched it after all that time, and I really enjoyed it. I really wished I saw it in the theater, and, I love Moana. The music stays with you, and, you'll catch me sometimes probably pulling up to you at a stopped light and, jamming out to, what can you say, but you're welcome.
Well, and also the other thing is, so when they announced that they were going to do a live action Moana, there was a lot of criticism because it's only been 10 years.
Yeah, and, that's only upon release. They started developing this thing, like, 8 to 9 years before or, like, 8 to 9 years after.
And I'm going to say this. I know some people hate the Disney live actions. I think some of them are quite good. Aladdin, Little Mermaid, Cinderella. I gotta say, and I know we have difference of opinions here, I like this movie.
Yeah, no, and here's the thing. I do not blame you, and I'll tell you why I don't blame you. Because it is beat for beat just Moana. Like, it is pretty much the exact same film in live action, and with that being the case, it's to a lesser extent of being as good as the original Moana. I feel like if you're going to do a live action adaptation, yes, you need to carry that same spirit of what came before, of what the original source material is all about. And when this movie comes out, it has no choice but to because it's the exact same thing. But you want something new when you receive a new movie. And this movie does nothing new. It does nothing to enhance the source material. And, this movie I just do not feel like enhances the spirit. It captures it, but it doesn't really channel it into something new that I feel like a lot of Moana fans would want. Because why would you want an exact duplicate of what's already there just in live action? And if it's shot similarly to the animation, it with shots that are specifically made for animation, and a lot of your CGI that is used, it basically looks like animation. I mean, why do you want that when you can just watch the original animated film?
Well, to be fair, I do think there is a couple of shots that are different, which isn't saying much because something that's unique about the live action Disney films like Aladdin and The Little Mermaid, they add more nuance to the film. And so I kind of agree with you. I probably love this movie because I love Moana. I love the songs. I love the characters, but there really wasn't anything different or unique about this, which is disappointing.
You know what? Here's the thing. obviously you can tell I'm not the biggest fan that this movie exists, but not the original one, this movie specifically, the live action.
How dare you? You said the original Moana.
No. But I will say, on a positive note here, there are moments in this movie where how it's shot, and I'm like, wow, it has a really cool take on that sequence there. I like that. That would look awesome in action. And obviously, since we're watching in live action, it does look awesome. But I feel like the rest of the movie is so focused on trying to just recapture what's already there and trying to emulate it, that when it does kind of do a little bit of straying away from it to kind of venture out into the sea beyond the reef, like kind of like Moana was, ironically, whenever it tries to actually be the character of Moana, it's doing well. But whenever it's trying to be the movie of Moana, it just kind of like, oh, okay, I've seen this before.
Do you think that you have that feeling because, one, it is Dwayne The Rock Johnson and he plays Maui in the animated film too? Because for me, going into this movie, I thought I would get annoyed with him, but I really liked him. But maybe that's because he's the exact same character with the exact same dialogue, with the exact same story.
Now here's the thing, you bring that up, that's another good point. I love that they brought Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson back. I can see him as a demigod, like, in person, and just, like, he really can capture that. Yeah, absolutely bring him back. I thought that was a great choice. But to just give him, just about for the most part, the same dialogue, the same utterances, the same cadence, the exact same thing, it's just like, we've seen this before. And you have the same guy back, and you're not really doing much of anything different with him. And here's the thing, there are, like, those moments I'm talking about where I see him in live action, I'm like, "Wow, that would be great if they really expanded on that." The stuff with, his tattoos,
Mhm.
every time it was shown live action, I thought it was very well done, but they didn't really stray away to do anything really different or expand on it outside of what the original movie had already done. And that's why I feel like, wow, such a missed opportunity. You because a lot of the sequences with Maui are some of my favorite in this particular iteration of the of Moana. And it's it just doesn't feel like they were willing to risk going out of their way to expand. Maybe it's because they feared kind of like the reaction a little bit with Lilo and Stitch, where it was people came to see that movie because and like because I know people already in comments being like, but that movie made $1 billion. Yes, it made $1 billion, not necessarily because people liked it, but because they wanted to see Lilo and Stitch. They saw the tail, the marketing team did a great job, and they sold people on that movie. Would has made people go out to see a second one knowing that that same exact same person that wrote the script would be behind it or the same person would be directing it? I can't vouch for that. But now they're changing up with Lilo and Stitch, where Chris Sanders is gonna be more so at the helm here writing the script than whoever wrote the first script.
Mhm.
And there you gotta think there might have been a reason behind that. Lilo and Stitch live action incredibly deviated away from the soul of the first movie.
Well, and also it was definitely made for a Disney Plus movie too.
Yeah, that as well. This one, it kind of has that same thing going on, but in the opposite direction, where it's not deviating enough, where it's like too and I know it's just kinda like, "Ethan, what do you want? Do you want deviating enough? Do you want, like, it to be the same thing? What do you want, Ethan? You're so hard to please." I
Al
mean,
Also, like, I think we were kinda taught to expect that with Disney live actions because Aladdin deviated from the story, Little Mermaid deviated from the story. Those movies had new songs in them too. This doesn't have any new songs.
yeah, and when those movies work, it's not necessarily because they deviated, it's because they found that balance between deviating and keeping that spirit of the same source material.
Yeah, staying
So
true to the characters.
exactly. So when I say that an adaptation needs to channel the spirit of the source material, channeling it can be maneuvered in multiple different variable ways. And it doesn't always have to be the same path that that channel took before. A river winds, constantly. The water just kind of goes wherever it's able to. And, it's not always the exact same path. It changes, but it's the same channel, the same river. So, you got to keep following that path. But, you don't, if you stray too far, the water loses momentum and it dries up on land. If you stay too on the same path that came before, where are you gonna go that's different to make it go beyond, to really bring it to that next level? You're just not. So, it's always about finding a great balance. I believe that for most things in life, finding a great balance. It's hard to do. It's not an easy task, but it's something that I feel like you need to do if you're going to go out of your way to spend all this money and get the resources to make a movie like this.
All the water relations I think is hilarious right now.
Yeah, it just flows.
It just was. I will say, to compliment the movie, because I did enjoy it, but again, I enjoyed it because it was Moana. I'm so glad that they didn't do the Lion King thing where the animals are, like, real animals. Like, these animals at least had, like, character eyes to them, because I could not imagine Hey Hey as a actual chicken. It would freak me out a little bit.
Oh, no, I'd be down for a practical pig. Like,
Who was barely in
I
it.
don't know, I feel like, the you could get a practical chicken for Hey Hey. I mean, like, man, with where technology is at, especially coming from Disney, I mean, come on, you guys are, like, the best at animatronics, for movies. I mean, come on, and you're
I
well
loved
that's
Hey Hey.
that's the thing. Okay, by the way, the CGI is not terrible. It is
No.
not terrible. Hey Hey is CGI. It's good. But again, it's CGI, which is essentially just animation, and you're trying to really emphasize this is a live action adaptation. At least if you're gonna do that, can we do it like where it's like Jurassic Park, where it's like a blend of practical and
Mix.
CGI? Again, going back to my original point, finding that balance. And they didn't. They're like, nah, CGI.
I have a question. Did you ever see Moana 2?
I did not.
Okay, because I will say this for the people out there that didn't want this movie. This is better than Moana 2, which isn't saying much because I did not enjoy Moana 2, and this is the exact same as the first Moana. So at least that's kind of hopeful.
Well,
But I assume most people in the Moana universe would rather have gotten a Moana 3 animated before we got a live action Moana.
yeah, I would attest to that. I mean, the second one still made 1 billion, right?
It
Pretty sure.
did?
Didn't it?
I think it did. It was
What's
in 2024. It was in November. It was a crazy time. I can't remember much about that movie because I did not enjoy it as much. But yeah, I guess like you bringing up like how it's not as different. The music is pretty much the same. I did enjoy "You're Welcome." That's always been my favorite song. So yeah, I agree, but I did love it because it is Moana. So
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I don't blame you for like and in fact, in our theater, not many people showed up, by the way, we'll get to that in a little bit, but the people that did show up, that brought their kids, at the end of the movie when the credits are rolling, these 2 little boys go up to, like, the down the theater, run down the aisles and wanna dance, they're, like, dancing their little hearts out, and it's great, and, I'm so glad that, the movie was able to bring joy to those kids, and, they love it because they're probably fans of the original Moana, and they love hearing the music they know, they love seeing the story that they know on the big screen, whether it be animated or live action, but, I just feel like people like kids like them deserve something a little better, that's all. Like, because if they wanted that, like exactly that. They could have just watched the original animated film in the theater, and Disney just could have re-released Moana in theaters,
it
and
probably would have made good money too
yeah, in
again.
fact, it may it probably could have made more than, what the live action might bring in. We'll have to see where it goes. But, we'll going into this theater, we bought our tickets, right, like, a day or 2 beforehand. No one else was in this theater.
Yeah.
And then, the days get closer and, day of, and, there were a few people here and there. You had, like, a couple families and some guy that, funny enough, showed up, like, a half hour late and the movie was already going, and he's like, "When did it start?"
It was like 7:30, sir.
Yeah, and the showtime was 7, so AMC,
Did
come on, man.
I was just about to make that joke.
Yeah, you you gotta understand, you don't give it, just say, "Showtime this, movie time that," like, come on, just get that sorted out. You'll get more people coming back to the theater and feeling much more relieved when they go.
Do you
But
think Disney looked at Moana and thought, "Oh my goodness, the first Moana made $1 billion," and then they started to go into production, and then they learned about How to Train Your Dragon, which came out 2 years ago, 1 year ago, the live action, saw how well that did. Then Lilo and Stitch, the live action came out, and it kinda freaked them out a little bit. Do you think, like, this was a whole cycle of, "Oh, shoot, we wanna make this live action, but we don't wanna deviate too far because of what we saw with Lilo and Stitch." But then How to Train Your Dragon didn't deviate at all, and people, from my understanding, love How to Train Your Dragon live action.
well, here's kind of where you and I as well disagree a bit. I believe How to Train Your Dragon, while for the most part is beat for beat, it it's not exactly beat for beat, not to the same extent that Moana live action is to the source material. How to Train Your Dragon goes out of its way to do some things differently and expand upon what's already there. Like, I would have loved in this more live action movie if they expanded something more on, like, Polynesian, mythology, and maybe added something, like, on their journey and voyage rather than just, again, the same beats, like, the same characters we see over and over again, those little coconut people or whatever. I mean, like, that's great that they're there, but, like, what's after them? Like, give them a little Odysseus kinda journey here,
Okay.
right? So, I feel like that Disney's trying to feel out their live action attempts. They know that they wanna still do them, obviously, because at the end of the day, whether you like them or not, the ratio is in favor of live action making money.
They also make money.
Exactly.
Like, Lion King made over 1 billion, a lot of them do well.
Yeah, I mean, and Lion King, technically an animated film, but
Yes.
yeah,
Y
that's another conversation.
yeah.
But yeah, I would have to say that Disney's still trying to figure it out and trying to hit their stride. This might just be another, drop in the bucket for them to kind of figure out, like, hey, what's gonna work here? Are people gonna like it because it's an IP that they know and love and it's the exact same thing? Or should we have deviated more? I mean, and like I say with Lilo and Stitch, they brought back Chris Sanders for the second one they're making for live action. And what direction are they gonna take with that one? Are they gonna keep going down the route of what they did for this first live action? Or are they gonna go the route of, like, adapting, say, Lilo and Stitch, the I wanna say it's the movie where whatever the one with the experiments is.
Stitch got a glitch?
Or Stitch Got a Glitch, which is technically Lilo and Stitch 2, but anyway, that's another conversation for another time. But point being, they could go many different ways with it, but they're obviously trying to figure it out actively, and this might just be another example of that.
I just hope they can figure it out before Tangled live action because I think that could be super well done in live action, but who knows?
Yeah, and the interesting thing about that is even that was delayed for a bit because of
I think it's
the
good
reaction.
though.
Yeah, that one I'd be more willing to kind of be curious about than a Moana one because of, like, the time that has passed, right?
Yeah, it hasn't been 10 years, it's been way longer.
Yeah. And, I'm gonna say this till the day I die until it happens, but Disney, if you want some great live action, especially for those Gen Zers you're looking to bring back to the theater, and you don't want to get into the horror world that does bring Gen Zers back to the theater, obviously, due to the box office data, so it's statistically true. Yeah, so Treasure Planet's a thing, and
Atlantis.
Atlantis,
Yes.
you own them. It's your IP.
Do it.
Do it. Those are two big properties that if you went out of your way to just kind of, you know, peek in there
Disney.
and explore,
Disney.
you may find a treasure trove of greatness. So, I don't know, maybe kind of think about it, mull it over a bit, and get back to me.
Disney. 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 That's all I want.
But okay. Now, at the end of the day, Amory, we gotta rate this thing.
Yes.
All right, so out of 10, let's say, hey hays.
I knew you were gonna pick Hey Hayes.
Yes, out of 10 hey hays, multiple Alan Tudyk played roosters. How many would you give Moana 2026, the live action adaptation, out of 10?
You know what? I did enjoy this, but I do think I enjoyed it because it's Moana and it's beat for beat. And basically, I could have went in and seen the live action Moana. So, does that lower my score? A little bit. But did I still have fun with it? Yeah, I did have fun with it because it's Moana and it's so much fun seeing these characters. I really did like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I did not think I was going to like him as much in this movie, but I really enjoyed it. And so I'm going to give it a 7.5. Moana, the original one, is a 10 out of 10 for me. The second one's a 6. So I think a 7.5 is totally fair. I would have liked to see something different, maybe a new song, something a little bit different and unique about it. But I don't think it's the worst Disney live action one. I don't think it's the best. So I'm going to put it in the middle of the road.
You know, I will give this movie two different scores.
Oh.
So, one being that I have seen the original Moana and the, you know, loved it. I would give that one, a 10. I thought it was great. It was brilliant. It was awesome. Fantastic. This one is just about exactly a duplicate of that. Now, with that being the case, it's a lesser than adaptation. So, if I were to have gone in without seeing the original Moana, I probably would have been like, wow, that's a decent movie. I really enjoyed that quite a bit. I'd give it like a 8 out of 10
Mm.
because the things that I will subtract it for, it it's stuff that they try to emulate from the animation that just doesn't really work the same in live action, and it shows. So I'll subtract those 2 points. Now that's again the score for Ethan for having not seen the first Moana, it would be an 8 out of 10.
Mm.
Having seen the first Moana, original anime from 2016, going into this movie, I got to give it a 5 out of 10. Like
Whoa.
right down middle of the road, because not only for the things I mentioned for why I subtracted 2 points from the original, or from the as if I hadn't seen the original Moana. It it's also like we have the animated one. I've seen the animated one. Why am I going out of my way to see this one? What are you going to do differently? It doesn't deliver in that. It just delivers exactly what we have already, and in that sense, it feels just way too much like an active cash grab, and by doing that, it just and every movie's a cash grab, but when you're actively making that cadence of appearing as one, then we have an issue. So this one is right down the middle of the road, 5 out of 10 for someone that has seen the original Moana and loved the original Moana, an 8 out of 10 for someone that hasn't seen the original Moana and maybe wants to take their kids to see a movie along those lines and they don't own it on Blu-ray and they don't have Disney Plus.
Man, the ocean will not be happy with you.
Hey, it will be because damn right they know I love the original. And
They
are you saying the ocean ain't an OG?
Oh, shoot, you're right.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, but anyway, guys, Moana 2026 live action. It's out now. It's been taking a beating quite a bit from the critics. But, we saw some people enjoying it afterwards. By people, I mean some great little kids enjoying it, and then Annmarie also enjoyed it. So we didn't do a survey of people coming out of the theater, but that's why we talked to you. So let us know your takes on our tapes in those comments down below. And with that, Annmarie, I believe that about does it for us.
Let's wrap it.
All right, guys. So thank you for joining us on this episode of Cassette Take. We hope you haven't ejected thus far into the podcast. But whether you have or haven't, please don't forget to rewind. I've been Ethan.
I'm Annmarie.
And